Hello, Internet Magic Man here again, bringing you another 5-minute review, the show where I play any game I've never played before, or maybe I did play it and just don't remember a whole hell of a lot about it. I play it for 2 or 3 hours, and then I give you a rating, no 1 through 10 here. I just tell you I really want to keep playing this game right now. Maybe I'll play it again later, or I'm never going to play it again at all. Today we're taking a look at Legacy of Kain Defiance. This comes from a viewer suggestion who actually wanted me to play Blood Omen Legacy of Kain, but since I remember that game extremely well, and some of the Soul Reavers that came after it, I opted to stick with the series they suggested, but pick a title I hadn't played before. If you're familiar with the series, this should be pretty standard fare for you, but let's take a look. First, you start off as Kain, and you have all of your usual telekinetic powers, like throwing somebody against the wall with the spikes there. That's frickin' awesome. Hell yes. Now, Kain and Raziel are vampires, one of blood, one of souls. Here we see Kain's telekinesis abilities and the abilities to turn into mist. They're all there. You're still able to use them. And of course, since you're a vampire, you have to suck blood. Your life is going to be draining the entire time. Now, this is a bit of an older game, but surprisingly holds up well, and it's still fun as hell to blow archers off of castle walls with telekinesis abilities. So, can't really complain there either. Combat is, it's typical for the series. You have a bunch of different slashes with the Reaver blade. Kain's side is the Reaver itself, the blade itself, and then Raziel has the soul part of the blade. So one's a blood vampire, one's a soul vampire. I'm not going to get too deep into the story. It's just too badass of a story. If you've played the series before, you don't need me to tell you that the story is one of the best parts of the series, and started way back on the PlayStation 1 with Legacy of Kain Blood Omen. There we go with another impale. Now, you also have your typical jump ability as Kain, and this is where one of the game's flaws does become apparent, and it's a trouble with the series, basically. And they've kind of always had issues with the camera not always being the most cooperative thing in the world here. And since the game does rely on some puzzle solving and platforming, that can become problematic, especially for vampires like Kain, who despite their enormous amounts of power can't touch water without turning into a bunch of bats right here. Couldn't do it. And again. And again. So get used to the camera kind of being an obstacle in your gameplay. Of course, Mobius does make an appearance, huge character in the series since time travel is part of the series as well. It's awesome sucking blood out of victims. You're going to swap back and forth from Raziel to Kain and back and forth as these two collide on an inevitable clashing to either reunite the Soul Reaver. Somebody achieves destiny? Don't know. Not going to spoil it for you. Instead of blood, Raziel, since he is the collector of souls for the underworld, you see that he absorbs souls. Yes, come here. Now, maybe it's just me or fans of the series or fans of this particular game in the series Defiance, maybe you can confirm this for me. The controls, particularly the jumping and platforming, felt a lot more reliable with Raziel. Yes, I know the glide does help a little bit, but I'm talking about just in general. The controls seemed tighter, the camera seemed to be a little more forgiving. Kain still felt a little stiff, and I understand the reasoning. While the gameplay is similar on both characters, even though they have different abilities across the board, you still wanted to create somewhat of a big difference, and there's a huge feel difference between the two characters, even though the core mechanics, a life bar, draining life, drinking blood, eating souls, the blade charging itself, your telekinetic or your magical powers, they're similar between both characters, so you really seamlessly are able to jump from one to the other. But it does feel different in the respect that Kain feels a little less responsive than Raziel. So maybe it's just my imagination. A little bit of combat here with the soul portion of the Reaver blade. Typical thrusts and jumps and juggles and things like that. And of course, just like Kain can suck blood off of a victim that's just about dead, Raziel can suck the soul out of a creature that's just about on its way out as well here. So let's eat up a couple of souls here. Now, I try to keep this around 5 minutes. Sometimes I go over, sometimes I don't, but we're getting to that mark, so it's time for me to make a decision. I've played for a couple of hours. I'm a huge Legacy of Kain guy in general. Love Soul Reaver, love Blood Omen, and all that. So I've got to make a call. Do I want to keep playing this game right now? It's that good. Is it okay? And I'll continue to play it, but just maybe not right now, or I'm never going to play it again. I'm going to leave this one at... I'll play it, but not right now. I don't think it's the best in the series, even though it is the newest in the series. Stay safe. We'll see you on the servers. And Raziel's a badass still. But Kain's a bigger badass.